my dream for creating board game or speaking on stages worldwide or performing whatever, it could seem crazy. Like you guys mentioned earlier, like, wow, is this a joke? Well, it depends on how you measure yourself. Because if you measure yourself with the traditional standard of having to hit every pitch right for music, then yeah, of course, I don't qualify. So I understand why I earned those 1-star reviews from my critics.
But not everyone could just like brush off, the millions of people that heard Joe Rogan say, yeah, this guy, and in the conversation also was like, well, what do they say? Set back,
Asians 10 years.
Set back Asians 10 years. Like, these are some like, this was heard by millions of people. So you got millions of people who know you as the She Bangs guy. That was almost like a joke.
Yeah.
And then for a lot of people, and then you have millions of people here. Is he mentally handicapped? Did he set back Asians 10 years in the entertainment space? And you're sitting here talking to us like pursuing a board game, and I'm pursuing this podcast, and I had this whole life of like that you've inspired so many other people. So what I'm trying to pull out almost is, how is this relevant to a listener right now for them to be better because of your life?
Well, your dream is worth chasing. Your dream is not for sale, and your dream is not something that needs to match the society expectations of you.
Your dream is not for sale, right? I'm just taking some notes here because this is absolutely correct. It's obviously what we teach here at Better Than Rich, and it's for a while we now we have the catchphrase "Leave today better than you found it," but it used to be chase your highest dreams, and it's like, well, what is your highest dreams, and then what keeps you from pursuing it? Obviously, it's some sort of fear, right? People are afraid of something, whether they're afraid of ridicule, they're afraid of they're not good enough, they're afraid that, what other people will think, they're afraid, fill in the blank, right? They're afraid to give up the comfort of their everyday life that they're experiencing right now. So, listener, if you're listening to this, I want to encourage you to put a little William Hung into your life and to ask yourself, am I willing to go, and be unapologetic in how I'm approaching things? One of the things that I saw here that I wanted to ask you on, I'm curious about, you said mental health was something that you like to talk about. Can you speak to that a little bit? What is it about mental health that you like to speak on, and why is that important to you?
Well, because sometimes the dreams that you have and you want to turn into reality, people think it's silly. It's like my mom is actually one of my biggest critics. She told me, "How come you couldn't just go get a stable job? You're a very smart guy. You can probably land a 6-figure job easily and stay there and retire happily ever after." I told her that's not the life I want. And I already tried the stable job version of for over 8 years. I don't want to have regrets later on in my life. My dream for creating board game or speaking on stages worldwide or performing whatever, it could seem crazy. Like you guys mentioned earlier. Like, wow, is this a joke? Well, it depends on how you measure yourself. Because if you measure yourself with the traditional standard of having to hit every pitch right for music, then yeah, of course, I don't qualify. So I understand why I earned those 1-star reviews from my critics. But maybe if you change the way you look at the situation, and it's like, okay, well, I'm in entertainment. My goal is to bring joy to people through entertainment. It doesn't matter if I can measure up to that high standard of music. Maybe the other, I'm always keeping it real. Maybe the other side, the flip side is that I don't, I did take some singing lessons afterwards, because I also don't want to sound so bad that people have to cover up their ears and run away. so that's how I go about it. And then I'm sharing this one is because maybe if you're stuck and you feel like you couldn't move forward or you want to give up, maybe try to measure your success using a different lens, using a different bar or metric.
Mm. That's a nugget right there. Yeah, I love the idea of kind of flipping the frame, right? Of what does success mean, and we're so preconditioned to think that success is a certain thing because it's just constantly promoted. At this point, it's just unconscious, right? We don't even know why we want things, right? We just want we want them because that's what everyone told us we should want, And so, really decided I'm going to define success for myself, right?
Yeah.
And something else that you said that struck a chord for me was like, well, why don't you go get a stable job? Like you can get you're so smart, William, my little
Yeah.
William, I want you to go get a stable job and a 6-figure career and sit in your cubicle and you easily could do those things. You're obviously smart enough to do it. But that's not the life that you wanted to live, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just so many times when we follow this sort of conventional advice, it doesn't get us what we want. And now we've just wasted 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I imagine
Yes.
there's somebody who's, around our same age who took that conventional advice and, hey, maybe they're actually really successful by a lot of standards, but they aren't fulfilled. Their life wasn't an adventure. And so,
Yeah.
another message to you, if you are that person, is it's never too late, right? It's like jump in now and act now and start making your life an adventure. Because it's a little bit more volatile, but you know what? It's what do you want your life to be? Just only safe all the time? No, you should have a little skin in the game. So, Mike, I know you had a question about relationships, and you wanted to, pose a question there. What was on your mind?
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, you go from all the different chapters that you shared with us, like I'd be curious on who were some of the mentors, like as far as relationships inside of Hollywood that kind of supported you or took you under their wing, as far as managing intimate relationships on this journey, if that was something, just because that's something that we talk about with a lot of our guests, like how do you, who were some of the people in your life? I know you mentioned mom, and I know we talked Ryan Seacrest and Joe Rogan, but like, who were some of the the people that were part of this journey with you, this experience with you? What type of roles did some of them play as you were kind of navigating through, especially that 4-year stint, recording the albums and being like bobblehead dolls, and like all that stuff. So yeah, so who were some of the who's? I'd be curious.
Well, I started my music career with Koch Records. Now it's known as Entertainment One. I'm always grateful, because every part of the journey in my life happens for a reason. And then I have so many unsung heroes in my life. My friends, they've been amazing. Not I couldn't stay in touch with all of them. It's just not practical. But they supported me at different times when I needed them, and that's what's important.
Hmm. And you said
Awesome.
Ryan Seacrest had you on his show. Did anything happen after that? I mean, obviously outside of American Idol, and you hop on a show. Like, is he trying to kind of nudge you along, or any of these individuals kind of like still like supporting this vision of where you're at and where you're headed?
Mm, if you want, if you're looking for something like specific shout outs to people, there are a couple of people I could think of. One of them, she's one of the producers for American Idol now. Her name is Megan Wolflick.
Hmm.
Uh, and then the reason I want to give her a shout out was because she was a staff member that let me through in the beginning, when I was standing in the baseball park with 3,000 other people.
Hmm.
Because she didn't let me through, I wouldn't get a chance to see the judges and the producers. I wouldn't be where I am today. So, and then the other person would be Mike Esterman. He's not my official agent, but for some reason people think he is because we collaborated on multiple projects in the past, like the some of the bigger commercials or performances. So yeah, I didn't really get mentoring for entertainment, how to run the business. I wish I have someone that could help me with that. But I learned. I self-studied. I look at the news from all over the world relating to that industry, and that's how I protect myself, but grow steadily over time. Because one of the questions that will help your listeners is I ask myself, what's the worst thing that can happen to you? What if everything went wrong for that project or for that decision? What's the consequence? So for American Idol audition, the worst thing that can happen to me is I go back to school, be a normal guy. It's not that big of a deal. But some of the projects or opportunities I turned down, I can't share specific details, but I know that sometimes the risk that let's say sometimes there are people who say like, oh, if you do this project, you can't be doing other projects. That's a problem. You may pay me a lot, but I don't like that. So that's something you have to weigh very carefully, and I don't regret turning those down, even though who knows what would have happened.